Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dot to Dot. And today we have basically some finishing up to do with bringing together my work on the island, identifying all the landmarks from the Rochefoucauld map. And we will be looking at the east side, or I'm sorry, the west side of the island. We just looked at the east side of the island. But I also want to mention we're moving into a new phase now. I've pretty much done a lot of my work that is on the surface of Oak Island, locating the landmarks and trying to make sense of the Rochefoucauld map and La Formula. And, of course, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to move right along with the momentum. And our team, especially Olivier, over in France, has got some really interesting new information. You have to check out his website. He just did 3 videos, and I will leave a link to his website or his channel in the description area. And you really need to check it out if you want to keep up with what we're doing. It's all very new. Oliver is leading this research, and I'm just trying to keep up and look at all that he has, and he presents it very well. And he presents a lot, and this is really good timing because it's all about what is underground, what is going to be underground in Oak Island. We believe that there's a hydraulic system, and there's a valve, and obviously there's an entrance. That's all the things that I've been trying to find on the surface. And it's very exciting. There's a lot of work still to be done. Things will change, as it has with me over the last year. My theory has evolved as new information is presented and sorted through. Of course, you got to sort through the information and collate it and make sense of it and see what falls into the cracks and what falls off to the wayside. But we're going to start off with just a little bit of review. For those who didn't watch last, I suggest you watch my last video if you haven't. And if you haven't watched any of my previous videos, it would probably behoove you to get caught up. But don't turn off the channel, just watch what we have to say on this one. So anyway, last week we talked about the things on the Rochefoucauld map and how it shows. The east side of the island, how it gives a center tangent point right here that we draw an east-west line that gives the oak entrance. It bisects right there. We also discussed the triangle of Peter and how this represents the angle up here, and I'll show you that in a minute. And also, most importantly, the 45-degree angle that goes to the top stone. The extension triangle comes out, and that is a directly north point for the south anchor. And then we have an east-west here. Then, if you haven't seen in the previous videos, we have the 1347 or the 1445, which is the distance on the bottom of the Rochefoucauld map, 1347. And we established Nolan's cross and the scales on Nolan's cross. And we have located the end stone and the north anchor, and we drew our circles of those distances. The end stone goes one time through the hole under the trap door. This is the opening for one of the features we're going to be looking at later in this video. And then the north anchor hits the triangle 2, which is right here. So basically that is where we're at right now. Let me do something here so you can see. I didn't show you that because it doesn't show up in the overlay. This is basically the representation of what the triangle of Peter does. So, and we don't know for sure if this stops at the 45,522, or it goes all the way to here. But if it was the 45,522, it makes it this distance calculable, at least to here. And let's see, this distance is going to be very, very important in the coming videos, and you'll see when you watch Oliver, the Oak Island Research channel, you'll see why that's important. Very, very important, and how it's going to come to fruition, we will see. So anyway, we will basically move on, and what we have is we have located the south anchor, and the south anchor is basically the key to the west side of the island. Let's turn off Nolan's data, and we will turn off this triangle here and this. Okay. So what we have now is the two circles, the end stone and the north anchor. And now we're going to put a circle around the south anchor. And what we get now is we get the opening of the west side of the island with the identification of triangle 2. And look at that little eye. Look at this. Okay. Creepy. All right. So anyway, we just notice stuff like that. So we have triangle 2. Okay. Now, the other thing that we want to introduce is the next scale. And the next scale is the 2130. And that distance is taken off of the marine note at the bottom of the formula. And it is a series of numbers, January 7th, 1960 plus 18, which all adds up to 1986, which is the distance in pre-1668 foot units, and we convert it to our units, and it is 2130. Oliver, remember how to convert? Anyway, we will look at that. Another thing that is in the marine note is the 80-degree angle. It mentions an 80. And this angle here with the extension triangle is 80 degrees. And what that does is it gives us the hint that this circle is going to emanate from this point right here. These are just scales that I put next to it. So this is Nolan's cross. This is the extension triangle point right there, which comes from the midstone pointer doubled over. So we'll go that, and we'll put that up. And you see right away, now we have a double verification point with the hole under the trap door. Let me tell you guys right now, and I'm going to get back to this distance, is everything here on Nolan's triangle or Nolan's cross is to find these points. And triangle 2 really is just to find these 2 points. And triangle Peter and the south anchor is just to find the oak entrance. So really, there's only really 3 final places of interest: the hole under the trap door, the valve, and the oak entrance. If you watch Olivier's video, you will start to understand why this is important. All the rest, Nolan's cross and all these points here, even triangle 2, the north anchor, south anchor, they're all there to find these 3 spots. So with this, let's continue on with the 2130. We have the hole hole under the trap door. Okay, and we have a line that goes out here. Now notice that this line, this is a hint. Notice this line follows the extension triangle and goes right through the stone at the cross stone of Nolan's cross. We're going to do the same on the other side. Okay. And what we do is we find this intersection point of the two scales. Okay. Now stick with me. I know this is sort of a little bit out there, but we take a circle from the center of that intersection, we get a hit on the valve. And the valve is 2,130 feet away from there. So here we have, what do we have? We have the end stone, which is fixed by Nolan's cross and the north anchor. So that's basically fixed. We have triangle 2, which is now fixed by the north and the south anchor. And we have now fixed the hole under the trap door. And this is fixed by the end stone and also the extension triangle 2130 distance. And the valve is 2130 distance. Well, there's one thing that I noticed about this, and actually I came up looking at this from my very first video when I was analyzing the 90-foot stone as a geometric symbolic code to find what I called the valve, but during that time I called it the trap door. And it was my very first video, my very first looking at this. Boy, has it evolved. And I still keep it in my videos, but a lot of that has somewhat gone by the wayside. But the way this is configured, and because I did that previous research, it is configured in that the end stone, triangle 2, the hole and the valve, okay, they create what is called a parallelogram. And we got the distance, hole under the earth. So there's a given distance right there. The hole under the trapdoor is from the end stone. That's a given distance. And we don't have that. Let's see. We have that distance we can measure. And we can calculate this distance. And we got distance, that distance. So when you look at this, and this really is a parallelogram. I've measured they're not exact. They're within a couple of feet. And with this many connections coming together, the error is, it creeps in. So that's 598 feet. And I think this one is a little bit longer. It's 600 feet. So there's a 2-foot difference. But look at how many different connections we have to locate this. There has to be some level of error there. And see, I'll show you guys this one. Okay, that's 986 feet. And oops, that's the end stone to the valve. I just messed that up, I think. Let's see. Let's cancel this. I'm not going to get into measuring all the. Why is that doing that? All right. Well, here, I'll just do it this way. Sorry, guys. 989 feet. So 989 feet and 986 feet. So there's 3 foot difference between the two. The angles are right on. I measured them and they all fit together. So this basically is how you're going to find the valve. It is a parallelogram, and it is from the end stone is basically where it emanates from. And the thing you can look at, and one of the things that gives you the helpful hint, is just like the triangle of Peter, is that the and I know I showed you guys earlier, but this, I mean, I know this points somewhat to the midstone, and this points somewhat to the end stone of the cross, Nolan's crossbar. But what it's really referring to also is the squareness and the angle of Nolan's cross and this. And the triangle, this triangle right here, just like the triangle of Peter, gives us a clue about where this is starting, and the relationship, the geometric relationship. So, but anyway, look at the valve. It's a rectangle, or even you can even say it's a parallelogram. But a rectangle is a parallelogram, and that is one of the clues that gives you the last clue of how these 3 elements that you've already located correspond to this last element, which you only had one orientation to, and it was an offshore one. So you really don't even need this offshore one to do this, because you have this line that goes right through that you knew, which was from the end stone to the trap door and the hole under the trap door. So that's how you find the valve. It was pretty basic. It's a little obscure. It's not like all the other ones. When we get into what is underground, after you watch Olivier's video, we're going to sort of have a little bit of a learning curve, possibly debates, a little bit of just tossing things around. That's what Olivier and I do. We challenge one another. And we're just looking for the truth and the best understanding of it. And we don't know. He says that the valve comes straight to the surface. That may be true. The hole under the trapdoor, we don't know. This could come right to the surface also, or could be underneath from the surface of the valve. But these are the 2 that we're going to pretty much focus on next. And, we will pretty much get into which is which. But right now, this is basically the end of what is the location of all the elements on the Rochefoucauld map and how they pretty much come together as a geometric map, I should say. We still don't know how to get here. Well, yes, actually I do. It's in the 45-522 theory in the formula. But we'll deal with that later. We do have this one left, and we'll get on to that later. But be sure to watch Oliver's 3 videos if you have time. It's very interesting. He's very excited. I'm pretty excited too. I'm a little less subdued. I wait and see how things pan out. But uh, that's it. That's the Rochefoucauld map, the finding of all the different areas on Rochefoucauld map. Thanks for watching. Leave a link in the description to Oliver's channel, Oak Island Research. And I thank you for watching. Have a good night.